Welcome to r/leopardsatemyface, and starting off with some schadenfreude from Trump himself. After years of fawning over Putin, Trump is just now getting the memo that he is not a Boy Scout. I've always had a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin of Russia, but something has happened to him. He has gone absolutely crazy. He is needlessly killing a lot of people, and I'm not talking about soldiers. Missiles and drones are being shot into the city of Ukraine for no reason whatsoever. Trump posted on Truth Social. Gee, I wonder what happened. Trump is gonna tariff other nations, genius. Make China pay for our government so we can have a tax break. And the tariffs could never go wrong, could they? Oh, Wayne. 100% appreciate that, and I'm still Team Trump. But I have urgent meetings tomorrow on how to update our pricing strategy. We have US and Canadian customers and US and Canadian plans. My Canadian plans don't produce the same product as my US plans and vice versa. We cannot absorb 10 to 25% tariffs, the margins are too thin. So guess what's gonna happen? I mean, that's what you get when you don't understand basic economics. It sounds like this goober was educated quick in that meeting, when the eggshells of right-wing political beliefs collided with the iron sledgehammer of reality. Responds positively to Big Daddy patting the edge of the bed saying how good it's gonna be. Ends up alone with the of consequences. The of consequences is rarely lubed. The unlubed of consequence needs to become a legitimate new business metaphor. Why is Trump trying to hurt us who was loyal to him? Trump's big, beautiful bill is crap. MAGA fam, I'm pissed off. This won't be a popular opinion, but this thing ain't no good. Lots of us, including some of my family members, rely on Medicare and Medicaid and SNAP. Why is Trump trying to hurt us who was loyal to him? I mean, Trump stated all he wanted was your vote. Do you think he cares about any of you beyond that? He literally campaigned on this, lol. Yeah, but obviously reading isn't MAGA's strongest skill, because last summer Project 2025 was exposed and put out there for everyone to see. I believed every single word of its contents, and apparently since MAGA thought the content of Project 2025 wouldn't apply to them, it wasn't even worth their consideration. That's a point, but odds are it was just too big for most of them to read. And not enough pictures for some of them. And come on, it didn't even come with crayons. We supported Trump's trade war until it hurt us, but now we're suing. Breaking news, a dozen states sue the Trump administration in US trade court over its tariff policies. Trump's tariffs are so successful, even red states are suing him. And here's another Cuban, this one an activist who got out the vote for Trump, who has since been picked up by ICE detention and will soon be deported. Florida really needs to learn this lesson. My ex was half Cuban and most of his family support Trump because they hate communism. It's so frustrating because they all have different stories of how they've maneuvered here in the 60s and 70s and now have zero tolerance for anyone doing the same. And most of them live in Miami. I was also very disappointed to find out my favourite Cuban spot in Miami openly supports Trump. For size, I guess I should have figured because I ran into Roger Stone the last time I was there. Ugh, that's like seeing a roach covered in cholera. What happens when they dine on themselves? Senator Hawley seeks FEMA funds after voting against disaster relief funds. I can't even lie, Hawley in that photo just looks like one of the early 2000s Karen meme images. Leopard Ouroboros? Oh, I believe you've discovered a new species. I could do without the mental imagery of him eating his own ass, if I'm being in a sharing mood. Though it does turn out that eating one's own face can look pretty sphincter-like. Yeah, fitting. He looks like an arsehole to me. Yeah, he was one of the pro-Jan 6 senators who was caught on camera sprinting away from the very same maggots that he rolled up. Fucking conservative pussies and wussies. Hence the origin of toxic masculinity. Here's a dairy farmer paying the price for tariffs. Meet Nicholas Gilbert, a dairy farmer from Potsdam, who wholeheartedly believed Fox News when they told him Canada would be paying the tariffs. Instead, he received a Trump surcharge on his cattle feed, and he can't pass this tax onto the consumer because he's part of a co-op that has contract pricing. He'll be bankrupt within a few months. Hashtag find out phase. Wholeheartedly believed Fox News. Lamau, I can't stop laughing. This is what happens when the education system fails you. When you joyfully listen to a hateful lying news channel and willingly join a cult. But the racism and bigotry were so shiny. That's what Fox News does. It shines up the racism and bigotry to make it so appealing. Hell, the genius is, they even made trade wars appealing. Don't take Econ 101. Watch Fox News and they'll tell you how America is number one. And it's other countries that pay for our bad decisions. And they should be happy to do it because we're Americans. Seriously, I wish these people would stop watching right-wing media. It would demand more of their brain cells to know how complicated the world is, but this would make them so much smarter. I can't even lie, Fox News to middle-aged Americans is exactly like Cocomelon for toddlers. And hey, if you've got a brain and know how to do critical thinking skills, you should totally press the subscribe button. Cause yeah, according to YouTube statistics, most of you haven't. So if you want to support this gay guy reading stuff, you should totally press those buttons. Getting deported and still supports Trump. Feast away. The pro-Trump Cuban rapper about to be deported. The predicament of the rapper known as El Funky reveals the deeply conflicted anti-Castro and pro-Trump politics of South Florida. Despite everything, Marquez Duane doesn't blame Trump. There are probably too many people here, he says. I understand trying to get rid of those who shouldn't be here, but Trump should look at each individual case. That attitude mirrors many in South Florida's Cuban exile community, where Cold War wounds and fears of socialism remain potent. Conservative Spanish-language radio, including outlets like Radio Mambi, have long bolstered Trump and dismissed more inclusive immigration reform. For many Cuban Americans, the change in the US-Cuban immigration policy is a real surprise, says Ana Sofia Pelez, executive director of the Miami Freedom Project, a Latino civic and education organization that deals with immigration, among other issues. There's a real disbelief that Cubans can be targeted. Look at each case. Sounds suspiciously like due process. Yeah, that was last year, not this one. He wants Trump, a literally man-child, to read each case? A baby who wants one-page cookies pictured briefings? He's complained during an interview about this exact same thing, saying he's skirting due process because it would take too long to review every case. Shaking my fucking head. Imagine leaving an authoritarian place like Cuba just to support Trump of all people. But, as the quote goes, the oppressor would not be strong if he did not have accomplices among the oppressed. Simone de Beauvoir. But you were supposed to help Musk and now I'm mad. I'm done with the GOP. You've lost me. You had your chance and you fucking blew it. I was so excited for this administration because of the promise of DOGE. But when I noticed the GOP do nothing while Elon's businesses were bombed and Teslas were vandalized, not one vote, not a damn vote. Months went by, still no votes. We're now at the end of May and we still have not had a single fucking vote on the DOGE cuts. The end of May. My only conclusion is that the GOP does not want to end the waste and fraud. This is a sobering realization to everyone who was stoked for Elon and Doge. Mark my words, this betrayal will haunt the GOP forever. I will remember you chose to do nothing. You took photos with Elon, you talked about Doge. You said you loved cutting waste and fraud. But when it came time to do something, none of you did it. None of you. Now you've lost me. You've lost my trust. I thought you'd be different than the Democrats. But I guess the GOP lies too. And the only difference between the GOP and the Democrats seems to be that the Democrats actually pass legislation. and the GOP does not. I mean, he got to the GOP lies somehow, but he still ended with some both sides bullshit. The dumb motherfucker will just fall for the next lie and the next, and he's waiting for his DOGE check. Seriously, for some reason I kept getting these suggested articles about $1,800 stimulus checks. They're always from some shady economics website with a .in domain. Straight up lies being pushed to make it seem like Trump is gonna cut checks. Glad my media literacy is much better than the average MAGA. Otherwise, I'd think a check was coming any day now. The big beautiful bill that they voted for turns out to be a disaster they didn't somehow see coming. I'm a strong Republican, and in general I'm a big fan of Trump, but this is a sad day of America. Adding to the deficit is unacceptable. I just can't get behind something that grows the deficit. Put a freeze on spending increases for 4 years. This will backfire. You don't lie to your voters about not cutting Medicaid. I don't care about cutting Medicaid. You don't lie to your voters. Ma'am, you voted for the most prolific and notorious liar. But surely it will backfire this time. And if not, they'll vote even harder for him next time. They may just vote themselves into the grave if they relied on Medicaid and are able-bodied but unemployed, or can't stay alive for the 4-hour drive to the nearest hospital. And they would vote for him even if he shot their parents. Oh, well, the MAGA lot doing more grifting. At Trump's $148 million Memecoin dinner, the food sucked, and security was lax, attendees said. The price of President Donald Trump's Memecoin plunged 16% as of Friday morning, just hours after he hosted a black tie gala at his Virginia golf club for its biggest buyers, an elite crowd that spent a combined $148 million on the token for the chance to be there. It was billed as the most exclusive invitation in the world. Among the 220 attendees were crypto influencers. I don't think those two words go together that well. Industry executives such as Sandy Carpenter of Unstoppable Domains and former NBA star Lamar Odom, who used the occasion to praise Trump as the greatest president and to promote his own token, Odom. Yeah, grifter's gotta grift. Trump made only a brief appearance, Pinto said. He didn't talk to any of the 220 guests. Maybe the top 25 though, he said. All in, the president was there for 23 minutes, Pinto said. Trump delivered a brief address rehashing old crypto talking points and then left on a helicopter before taking any questions or pictures with his Memecoin contest winners, he said. Phones weren't locked in RFID pouches and security was lax, according to Pinto. Once Trump left, they didn't really worry about anything else. Lol, he did the entire thing as cheap as possible to maximize profits. If you're an investor and can't read what that writing on the wall means, you deserve to get ripped off again by that man. Which is bananas, since they paid millions upon millions of dollars. Couldn't even get a decent meal. I'm surprised he didn't have waiters come in with a bucket of slop and just plop it on their plates. Oh, there were no waiters available due to current policy. I mean, my cat food looks more appetizing. I feed my dog better food. Well, yeah, because you care about your dog. That's the difference. Ain't that something? Trump just denied North Carolina's request for FEMA relief for Hurricane Helene, calling it not warranted. He definitely wasn't making up stories that Biden was doing the exact same thing and saying that he wouldn't. It's always the same script with these fuckers. Ooh, an all-you-can-eat buffet, you say? Another day and another fitting article for this. I live on the TN side of things. The mountains are still a mess, the roads still closed. Like, people are still struggling to rebuild. And yet, the Trump flags still fly. The leopard didn't eat their faces, they cut it off themselves, braised it and offered it up with a lovely radish rose. And this is why MAGA is a lost cause, and we need to stop focusing on how to save them or how to tweak the Democrats' message to appeal to them, and all the rest. MAGA is a death cult, fully committed to proud ignorance and hateful bigotry. They will eagerly die for Trump if somebody else suffers for existing. Nothing can be done with them except isolation, and sadly that doesn't fix their reliable voting habits. They show up for every election and will vote against facts and progress every time, even if it ruins them, and they know it. Trump says, "This is what Elon wanted," as meeting with South African president descends into chaos. Of course apartheid Elon is going to want Daddy Trump to fail, keep in mind, to bully the South African president. US President Donald Trump seemingly admitted that he answered to the outgoing head of Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk. The admission came during a rather tense meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. He actually came here on a different subject, like sending rockets to Mars. He likes that better, he likes that subject better, but Elon is from South Africa. Several users immediately commented on the video, Trump name-dropping Elon like he's a diplomatic strategy now, one person stated. This is what Elon wanted. Sounds less like a foreign policy stance, and more like a guy trying to shift the spotlight when things get awkward. The only reason Trump cares about this issue is because Elon paid him millions, a second person jeered. Trump's doing the bidding of the old guard perfectly. Elon and other apartheid boys getting involved would just make the subtext louder, a third person stated. What, Elon Musk supports apartheid and he's a fucking racist? Who could have seen this coming? Cough cough cough, apartheid emerald mines, oh sorry I've got a cold. I don't like that he's doing what he said he would do. Alright, I'll say it. I don't like several things Trump is doing. Only several? It really should be fucking all of it. I don't like tariffs that raise prices on consumers while blaming businesses for the cost. I don't like any president unilaterally declaring emergency powers to change trade policy. Especially when the emergency is, I don't like our current trade policy. I don't like needless trade wars on allies and fuzzy math to defend them. I don't like provocative rhetoric that undercuts electoral chances of conservative parties abroad. Budgets that raise the spending ceiling by $4 trillion? All reckless talk about suspending due process and deportations. I don't like threats to leave Ukraine to the predations of Russia, especially when he said he'd end the war on day one, or offers to give Iran nuclear capabilities. There's still a lot to like, and I don't regret my vote, but Republicans should be willing to confront their own when they stray, even if Democrats don't. Tell me you don't understand economics with telling me you don't understand economics. Expecting business or the Fed to compensate for the fallout of your actions? Or saying that maybe people can learn to get by with fewer dolls or pencils? Sounds like communist central planning nonsense. Whenever they say, there's a lot to like, I'm just gonna go straight to the fact that it's the racism they enjoy. Because aside from fucking up our economy and that, he really hasn't done anything else. Ask them to be specific about what there is to like. They've got nothing because they know. Trans athletes and abortion and Republican Jesus. You know, the things Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about. He's fighting wokeness and DEI. They usually go with his border policy and don't see any problems with the racism with that. Shocked and devastated that Zuck would lay me off too. Oh, changing up the last post with some yucky Zucky as opposed to icky Elon. When Meta began implementing layoffs in 2023, part of Shakara Kennedy's role was helping guide the company through the process. Kennedy was shocked and devastated to learn that this very Meta layoff would impact her role too. I was a HR manager at Meta who helped guide the layoff process. Then they cut my role too. Here's what being laid off taught me. Person in charge of getting rid of loose ends for crime boss, shocked and devastated at being dead now too. No, I killed the bus driver. For a guy who claims he doesn't seem like the guy with a plan, a lot of his stuff seemed pretty meticulously planned. I've seen small dinner parties spiral into disaster faster than his rise to mob power and taking a majority city hostage. Dear Business Insider, I don't think there's anything of value to get from the last person who learned something about being laid off. Maybe you should hire her to see who you need to lay off. Regards, people who don't give a shit. I mean, I learned to turn the light off when I left.